Indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I appreciate you sharing space with me again today. Oh, I feel a little bit tired. Apparently, I'm not completely healed. I had to learn the hard way. Yesterday was a pretty heated night in terms of my body trying to regenerate itself, and it left me this morning feeling kind of sensitive. Literally like my entire skin doesn't want to be touched. Like I couldn't sit down, couldn't continue being in bed, and it was this very surreal feeling that has been with me the entire day. And then as I go through this entire experience, I started thinking about sensane. If even a little bit of the sensation I had is something that sensane has been or experiencing and has to sweat to actually get through that whole experience. I can't even imagine. And genuinely, like, even though I've been going through this discomfort, that's how I've been trying to frame it for myself as well, as an extra layer of awareness of what people could be going through, have been going through, something that I'm usually not aware of. Our immune system and our bodies are so intricate and so tightly run that we don't even realize they exist until they stop working properly, right? Take everything for granted. Today's title slash intention slash feeling that I'm trying to bring forward is the question of what came before. What came before? And then the question I ask after that is, are we going where before was? I mean, if you consider duality the ultimate reality, then technically yes. Oh goodness. Before. Maybe appreciation, understanding. Insight. If we want to know what happened before, that's something we'll need. We'll need insight. There's so much about our universe, about our reality, about our consciousness, about the human body that we don't understand. So much of it. And I feel we live in a age right now of a duality within thinking we know a lot, especially knowing a lot in the material science type of way, and having created everything we have right now that creates a comfortable life for us. But on the other side, when it comes to the intricacies of the universe and the sheer scale of it, we can't even begin to fathom, not even for a second to comprehend. And then, on top of that, to ask the question, what came before everything that is right now? Is there a before it? What was the space like if you consider the Big Bang as the start of the reality? Or this galaxy, this physical universe we're living in? What came before that? What was the conditions of the universe to allow something to do something like that? There's this interesting theory of the inevitable heat death of the universe eventually consolidating into one big black hole, or maybe just the entire heat death universe collapses into itself and then explodes back out from that, resetting the entire clock. And then in that way, is there something that came before it? Or is it just like a constant restarting of it? Hey, fire breathing Jenny, thank you for joining us again here, my friend. How are you doing? How's life been? I mean, it's only been like 24 hours, but a lot can happen. How have you been, friend? Tactful chemist. Trevor? Is it Trevor? Right? Am I still remembering it? It's been forever. I know it's been a while, but I finally got my work schedule nailed down. I wish everyone a wonderful day. Dude, you don't have to worry at all, friend. Thank you for joining us now. I'm feeling a bit tired, so if I'm not all there, do excuse me. Be gentle with me, please. I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering. We did end up having that little bit of a meeting yesterday. Was transparent about the flu symptoms I've been experiencing. We rolled her own joint. Christian screamed at me silently for telling her. And it was an amazing time. It was a really cool time. We had a bunch of conversations. It was pretty fun. And then the thoughts and the personal interpretation of the whole situation between me and Christian is something that we explored afterwards. And it's interesting. It really is interesting. The biggest problem is, at least in our consideration of it, it's just this likelihood to be influenced. Let's say it in that way. You're so easily influenced as a human being. We consider ourselves pretty strong. We consider ourselves pretty autonomous. And we are for the most part. But our environments play such a big role. Such a big role. And the people we have in our environments play, in the same way, just as big of a role. And in that way, choosing and who you choose to be in that environment with you is going to influence you. And that influence is something that you're basically giving them power over. If you're giving them your attention, basically your essence, and they don't really respect that or don't really want to use that in the betterment of both of your lives, then it's something that's going to feel maybe on a face level, you'll be okay with it. You'll be like, oh, this is just random small talk. But on a subconscious level, you'll feel like there's something amiss. The conscious versus subconscious mind has been a subject of a lot of interest to me as of late as well. How much of the stuff do we do subconsciously for our conscious lives? Ermius blur and our joint of insight. Man, I feel like my brain is like working on maybe 30% capacity, but we're gonna push through, friends. We're gonna keep going. Frankie, thank you for joining us. Go to work. Yes, it's Trevor. Dude, Trevor, it's been like months, man. I'm so happy that I remembered your name. Thank you for being here with us again, brother. How have you been? Woo! Aunt B is here. She says, good morning. Afternoon, friends. Heading in for Christmas breakfast with Bubby. And then a friend trip to the tree farm. Ooh, the tree farm. I'm guessing you're gonna get a Christmas tree. This weekend past, me and Christian set up the Christmas tree at Christian's dad's place. He has one of those Christmas trees that can go into a box. So we kind of like took it down, built it, set up all of the little decorations, ornaments, added some lights. In our family, we don't really do the Christmas tree thing that much. My family is extremely Christian, so the whole commodity of Christmas is sacrilege. It's not about presents. It's about what do you call it? I guess the religion. No, it's not presents. It's always about the presents. This dude, Christian's birthday is on the 25th of December. This bra has been just presented. Wait to hit my morning thoughts, Meldmore. Thank you. When it rains, I'm happy that you feel stimulated by this question as well. What can we do with them? That's the real question. Can they help? How much more can we explore? And Christian said something that has been bothering me a little bit today. We were talking about how when it comes to friendships and the people that you take into your life and the conversations you can have as a result of who they are as a person. For instance, if you are willing to have conversations about things that might be, in quotation marks, a little bit out there, and the other person is also willing to not only have those conversations, but is willing to entertain those conversations, I genuinely believe that there is, and this is not a superiority thing, It's just an expanded view of consciousness there. So, for instance, if I had to have a conversation about the potential of aliens that have the ability to excrete chemicals from their skins, and in that way, as soon as they shake hands, they communicate in that way. They don't have to use words, create a whole complex variety of chemicals in their handshakes. For instance, just like on the spot, something we came up with. Having that conversation with you, friends, or with Christian, is something that I could do, and something that would be, I mean, encouraged in some way, right? It would be something we would be like, huh, interesting. That would be neat. What if this? What if that? But trying to have that exact same conversation with someone like my father, he would say, why, why do you want to talk about this stuff? What exactly is the value, or what exactly is the point of talking about these things? And then Christian mentioned that that can also be something, or from the outside world rather, can be seen as a drawback, where you're so in that way of thinking, in that realm of experiencing, in that state of existence almost, that you aren't completely present within this state of existence. And like as Christian was saying it, the thing I was thinking at first is, do I do that? Am I so fascinated with other realms of possibility than just our physical plane of existence that I'm not, properly present within this one? And I'm not sure. Would you be willing to try and tell me, Christian? Am I not present? Oh.
No, you're human.
No, I'm human, he says. Like, I'm serious though. Like, for the most part, on a day-to-day basis, how present am I? Like, from a 1 to 10 scale.
6.
A 6. I can do it a 6. A 6 is pretty okay. At least I'm not, in the low 40s or something. 6 is fine. To insight, friends. To insight. I love Alrisen. Oh, Kira Burb is here as well, as is Jovan, and Sucker Witch as well. Man, I've already forgotten your YouTube name. I'll remember it if I see it again, dude. I was looking at a set of steps my grandfather made over half a century ago, and thinking of what life prospects were like for him. Prospects. Like, it trips me out as well when it rains, and thank you so much for bringing that as a topic into today's discussion. Not only do we have these intellectual / curiosity / imagination barriers between us as people sometimes, but time has become such a separating factor as well, where the people who inhabited our earth, for instance, before the internet era, is a whole different subset of human beings to the human beings being born right now. And in a lot of ways, the understandings, the interpretations, the worldviews that was held by those older generations are flawed because of the opportunities, the life prospects they had in that time. So, for instance, right now we're going through an insane time where people are not being paid enough to just, live a life. You shouldn't need to work 2 jobs to live one life. That just the saying. It should be so simple for us all to understand that. And yet, if, for instance, your grandfather, in the time that he built those steps, half a century ago, the price of wood, the ability for him to actually have access to that stuff, his job opportunities, his access to, equity as a result of that, the amount of people that was in the country, the amount of inflation that was present at that point. And then because of his understanding, because of his interpretation of how much you're supposed to be paid and how much is enough, now going into today's day and age, now you see these people earning more money in dollar value than you did during your, 19 whatever's time. and then you think, yeah, these people are doing fine, they're earning more than I did. But if you account for inflation, we're literally like on average earning half, even like up to like a quarter as much as our parents did during our age, you know, in our early 20s. And that's bonkers. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And then, you know, like we're going through this mental health epidemic. People are at an all-time high when it comes to the levels of depression. Us as, you know, millennials, as young people, we don't see prospects of owning a home anytime soon. And then as a result of that as well, how are we supposed to have kids? So we find ourselves in this world where we've been educated slash brainwashed into thinking that this certain way of living life, this certain understanding of what a successful human life is supposed to look like. And then at the same time, it's harder than ever to really live in that way. And then on top of that, the global population decline is going to be one of the biggest threats to humanity in our future. We're not having enough kids. And I don't even know if I want to have kids. And I know some of you might be saying, no, 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 Mel, you know, we're 8 billion people. Yeah, we're 8 billion people right now. We're 8 billion people because of the extreme population curves that we had, and every single country's population curve is like taking a hard drop, and it's pretty intimidating. Good morning, beautiful brother. Did you see the Ermias Plurple painting? I didn't, dude. I need to though. Goodness. Did you paint it? Sucker Witch? Dude, I'm gonna go and check it out directly after this. Make sure you're ready for the insight. The hanged man is not comfortable. Ooh, what a trippy thing to say. Fire breathing Jenny. I don't know if I've shared any insight, but I feel like we've been having a good conversation at least. I wish I could send you a wreath. I think your parents should feel proud that they have a son who brings reflective thoughts to stranger to make the world more harmonious. When it rains, thank you so much, my friend. Like that means a lot. My parents are proud. They're proud of me as a person. I'm not sure if they're proud of what I'm doing right now, but only because my parents attach, unfortunately, when it comes to employment or what you want to do with your life, they are going to always attach their pride to the, you know, X amount of currency that I earn a month. And in that way, I'm not going to be successful in their eyes for a long time, probably. And that aspect I'm completely okay with as well. Because I genuinely believe that your human value, you know, how proud someone should be of you, shouldn't be determined by how much currency they earn. Like, to yourself as well, especially to yourself. Goodness. The fact that we do that to ourselves is also astounding. You are worth more than the entire universe. Every little speck of gold in this entire universe, you're worth more than that. Every diamond, every little dollar bill, all of it, you are worth more than that shit. And realizing in this moment your worth is the only way to live a genuine, in my opinion, rich and fulfilled and full life. Because then you're no longer trying to fill it in any other way. When it rains, thank you for being in this harmonious space with me and for bringing the same energy. I appreciate it so much. Humans excrete pheromones. Aliens like that wouldn't be so strange. Exactly, fire breathing journey. That's why I was mentioning it. It's very much in the realm of possibility. The way that you would communicate would be so weird though. It would be trippy. It would be strange if you were to experience it, you know. Like imagine shaking someone's hand and then having receptors that create or rather detect different layers, different spectrums, different, you know, maybe pHs as well of chemicals. Then in that balance, literally there is whole sentences, words, ideas, images, if you will, painted. goodness, too much. Would be cool though. Hey Mal, hey, it's not on low lol. Hope you're feeling better soon. I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling horribly. I'm just tender. I feel like I was, put through. How would you explain that?
Little bit.
Fuck off, Christian. Like, I'm imagining, and this might be a little bit weird. Like, I'm imagining a wormhole, and this wormhole has like plastic forks on the inside of it, and then they don't like completely penetrate, but they're just like moving you through the wormhole with plastic forks. My entire body feels like that. Like not, I'm not dying, but there is this genuine sensitivity slash discomfort just being in my body. So that's the only thing. Like fortunately my headache is completely gone. My eyes are hurting a little bit. Other than that, I'm completely good. Thank you though, Northern Lowell. I appreciate you so much, friend. The steps were made from the old rail ties. From the old rail ties. And he got them from working with the railway, which doesn't exist here anymore. Imagine how many jobs was taken of that as well. And the amount of jobs is going to be taken by the robotic industry moving into the future. The only way, before I continue, I'm going to light a candle for our friends who are not here. Thinking about Edmund again. So much love to you, friends. Even though some of you might not be here, this little light is going to, in my mind, represent slash symbolize the light of you, friends. Exist anymore? Doesn't. Railways, robotics. There we go. So we're going to have to, if we're going to survive as humanity in the near future, literally within the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to have to figure out a way to take care of human beings outside of the normal economic value system. Because if 50% of the human population is unemployed, there's one of two things that will happen. Thing number one, total anarchy. People will lose their minds. Thing number two, you take care of people. You just make sure people have human needs, basic human needs. And then if basic human needs are taken care of, the rest will be taken care of as well. Imagine what our society is going to pivot to. And this is inevitable, friends. Like, think about this. Robotics are coming so fast. I think, as it stands, there's already more, like, small-scale, intricate labor being done by robotics than has been done by all of humanity for us, as long as we've been, doing this shit. And we're only doing that faster and faster. Robotics are getting better and better. We're training so many different neural nets right now. GPT-3 is on its own level. Tesla's, just real-world ability to perceive reality and actually move through that reality in a fluid motion. Be able to actually live in this world, if you will. And then, if you look at, let's go back to GPT-3. GPT-3 is basically this collective of an AI. It's kind of general, but it's really good at text right now. And if you could, on a text-by-text basis, talk to this thing, only by text-by-text basis talk to this thing, you would literally be able, or it would rather, literally be able to pass the Turing test as it's having a conversation with you. I.e., you would not be able to distinguish that you're talking to an artificially intelligent machine. It has conversational ability so advanced that it sounds like a human. It has a personality. It makes jokes. It tells lies. It tells white lies. Robotics is our only hope. Like, it's the next frontier of humanity. It was like pretty much the Industrial Revolution. No. It was paper, then it was the printing press, then it was the Industrial Revolution, then it was, I guess, the internet. And next is going to be a combination of robotics and genetics. Probably. probably. Oh goodness, it's gonna be a trip. How many bananas did you scroll? I didn't get that information, unfortunately. Yokut. Where do I find my banana scroll equivalent? I painted last night. It's a Meltmore tribute. Ooh, Sucker Witch. I have to see that, my friend. Thank you so much for asking and letting me know that that's actually a thing. I'll definitely go and check it out. Again, brother, thank you. You say joke. I say joke sometimes, common arm. How old are you? I am 23. My body, at least, is 23 years old. Goodness. We experience bodies so we can experience time. If our bodies were timeless, ageless, static, would we experience time in the same way? Would we experience time if it's a new consciousness? And then as that consciousness gets older and older, would its perception of time deteriorate? Would it improve? Probably not. You know, there was this very weird line in this. What's that book's name again? Terry Pratchett's Death?
Reaper Man.
Reaper Man. You know, there was this line of this 130-year-old wizard. 130-year-old dude. He's been like chugging along. And it goes through this monologue of how multiple days fly past them. You know, literally, if it's a whole month's worth of days, it goes by like moments, instants. But in the middle of the day, it feels like an endless day. Like the day never has an end. And then you go to sleep, and the day never has an end again. And then doing that over and over and over again. And then before you know it, you've done that for another few months, and those months feel like they passed in an instant. You know, and it was so trippy just to read this perspective as well. And the thing that I was, you know, I'm curious about is would that be the way that we perceive time if we were to live past a certain point? Is there a reason for us to live as long as we do, so that we can experience time in the way that we do? Is there a component, you know, to aging that isn't even bodily? How about that? I think so. I am complete conjecture, of course, but I think it may be. Can't wait to see that. Me too. Me too. I'm so excited, Kira. I think our creativity will soar when we get done with making people so busy work to prop up the economy. Just look at how creative we got during the pandemic, and imagine how much more creativity is going to flow from humanity's fire, Jenny. This is just the start. And I genuinely believe that the commodity that's going to be important is going to be humans in the future. And that sounds horrible if I say it like that. I mean, you are the thing of ultimate value. And it's moving from this perspective in the world where things are of ultimate value. A nice car, a nice house, a this, a that. That's valuable. No. Human beings are the things that are valuable. And I genuinely do see our world pivoting to that understanding, but it hurts to see the growth pains or the growth processes of that. Ooh, I need to do it as well. Come. Thank you for joining us, man. How are you doing, my dude? Klepto is here as well. What's up, Mel? How have you been, man? I've been well, dude. I've been really well. I've been a little bit sick, and I've been recovering, you know, bit by bit. But other than that, I've been so well. How have you been, brother? Dearest Joe Burr, years ago, I had an OBE during intensive meditation and outer body experience. What is it like? Like, when you have an outer body experience, do you have to look at your body from that outer body experience? Or was it an experience where you just were in another state of, I want to say existence in another reality, bodiless? You know, like what exactly is your definition of an outer body experience, sucker? If you'd be willing to share, friend. Ooh, Green Skin is here again. Says, yo, what's up, man? Meld brothers and sisters. Hope you all have a good day. Thank you so much for joining us again, Green Skin. You've been missed, friend. How have you been? How's life been treating you? Almost got squashed by a semi on the way to work. Oh, I don't like adrenaline. I'm all good though. Toasty, I'm so happy to hear you're good. And this might be, so bear with me too, this might be a little bit sadistic sounding. But how happy are you now again to just be alive? You know, I know we joke around sometimes, oh, passive longing for death. But when you get confronted with a situation like that, you know, where someone cuts you off, where you have to like whip around, you have to like hit the brakes to not hit the back of someone's car, like that shit, and avoiding that shit, you know, very closely, instantly, there's just waves of relief. You know what I mean? Technically, adrenaline is dopamine with some. So it can be a little bit intimidating and much and anxiety inducing, but it can be fun as well. Toasty, oh, happy you're alive. I hope that you're happy that you're alive. I'm sure you are, man. It's great time to be alive. There we go, great skin. Yeah, it is, dude. Morning, Mel. Hope you're feeling well. Toasty, my brother. It's so nice to have you here. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling very okay. Believe you're okay. Morning, burp. Oh no, almost happened to me yesterday. Friends, please stay safe. I'm genuinely looking forward to, you know, when we're completely switched over to AI driving as well. Human beings driving vehicles, please. Please. We can't have 9 pairs of eyeballs on the same at the same time. People are overly aggressive lately, it feels like. Symptoms. Symptoms, Toasty Merlosty. Symptoms, dude. What's the opposite of aggression in that circumstance? Acceptance, I guess? I think if you accept in like a traffic situation, might be 3 seconds later than you thought you were gonna be. So absolutely not. I have to be aggressive to get my 3 seconds, you know, cut in front of this person. I'm gonna save myself some time. Life is good. Every day is full of new experiences. That it is, dude. Like literally, you can sit in the middle of your room, just of yourself, and you will experience things. Oddly enough, you'll experience more than you thought you could. That's one of the weird things I've experienced. If you spend time doing nothing, just with yourself, you will feel a level of energy build up in you that makes things happen almost. You know, like meditation, if you meditate for a very long time, at least in my personal opinion, at some point, I literally become uneasy. You know, I want to stand up and move around. I can't keep my eyes closed anymore. Like there is an abundance of energy left there. And that abundance of energy that's left is already there. You just kind of become more aware of it because you spend time with it. Do you friends meditate? How long have you been meditating? At what age did you start meditating? You don't have to answer both questions at the same time if you don't want. Robotics is our only hope. I think we could be genuinely surprised at how much art you have inspired. Marvin, I've seen percentages of it, dude, and it surprises me anyway. I cannot even imagine how much more we're still going to do, dude. I make art as well. I I think my art is good, but I don't make it fast, unfortunately. I'm very much not so. Like I would I would be the slowest slowest of art creators. Like the biggest handicap to me right now is just the medium I'm working with. Like I'm working with my cell phone and a very small pen. I'm gonna take it out right now. want to get myself a little bit something more substantial to work on, but we'll get there when we get there. For now, I'm really enjoying the creative process. I just wish I had more space. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I feel this. It's very noticeable. Glad you're not a pancake. Me too, glad though. Thank you for also sharing the love, friend. I have appreciated soon, lol. Was more fuming. Yeah, I've experienced that so severely as well. Because, and then so this is the way that I think about this, Toasty, because it goes from either I am extremely relieved to still be okay, or the second response is, this person almost fucking killed me, and you lose your mind about that. I know. I know, yeah. And it's so difficult to keep yourself level headed that I can't even for a split second be like, you know what? Calm down, you know? Almost dying isn't that bad. And what? It's good for you. Christian is like almost dying is good for you. I mean, it could jolt the heart a little bit. Another state of existence. I could see my body on the bed and my out of body self was sliding on the wall, two places same time. Strange. That sounds amazing. The way that I consider or think of that is that our fundamental essence, consciousness, awareness is just that. Fundamental consciousness, awareness. And that consciousness and that awareness doesn't necessarily need a physical body to be conscious, to be aware. So in a outer body experience, you have just come to the final realization of your awareness, and in that way you can move your awareness through different points of space and time, not necessarily just limited to your physical body. And if you're like, oh, Mel, bunch of hippie nonsense, you can also call it imagination. Some of us have very vivid imaginations. And even if it's just imagination, then kudos. Imagining stuff like that is fun. It's beautiful. It's an experience in itself. So glad you're safe, Toasty and Soccer. You also be safe. Please do be safe, friends. Like the roads, goodness. I'm still, I've been driving for a long time. I think I have something like, I don't, maybe like 70,000 kilometers. So 50,000 miles, maybe like 44,000 miles or something on the road total. And during that time, I was almost in an accident like 3 times. And of those 3 times, one of the times were, completely my negligence, where, well, not completely my negligence. Basically, I was on this highway-esque double road highway, and there was this petrol station kind of to the left, and there were cars pulling in, and there was a truck that kind of went on standstill in the fast lane. And I was kind of like going 120 kilometers per hour, and then I suddenly see, red lights coming up fast. And I hit the brakes, and as I hit the brakes, I still feel the car going forward. I see this car coming closer and closer, and my brain tells me that I have too much momentum to stop before I'm there. So I swerve into the grass next to the car. And I sit there. I sit back. I never leave this freaking steering wheel. And I'm like, oh my fucking goodness. That was way too close. Way closer than I've ever wanted to be to an accident. A personal accident. I've been in accidents before with my father. But goodness. And it was a company car as well. So, the freaking broke person in me was also like instantly panicking that I had to find a way to pay my boss back if I crashed the car as well. Oh goodness. Car accidents kill a lot of people every year. Christian,
What?
can you Google how many people get killed by a car accident every year?
100,000.
It's definitely not 100,000 though.
Okay, 200,000.
Like apparently 8 million people die by cigarette.
300,000.
Christian, oh, priest, oh, I wanna know. I'm curious now.
Christian,
Yeah.
I've got more important things to do than to Google how many people die in car accidents each
Okay, fine, Christian. Do your important things. So tell Warhammer I said hello.
Actually, I'm getting ready to leave.
Are you leaving now?
Yeah, I'm leaving now.
This dude, he tunes me tomorrow. I'm gonna come home. We're gonna eat something. I'm gonna tell you. What did you say? Go fuck yourself or something like that?
That sounds like me.
It sounds about exactly like you would say, yeah. And then I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go and visit or see friends, varsity friends again. Like there's two friends, one friend that he hasn't seen in a long time, one friend who he has seen kind of recently and has stayed in touch with. Both of them are going to.
No, both of them I haven't seen in a very long time.
But one of them you saw longer ago than the other, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. Good luck, dude.
Thank you.
Good luck, oh.
Thank you. I wish you luck as well.
Thank you,
in,
man.
In everything.
You better survive, though. You better freaking come back alive to the end of the day. If they eat you, Christian, you have to show me what they look like so I can, tell the police. So. It's nuts how you get into slow motion when foresight catches the adrenaline. Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. For your FYI, hey Thomas, love to you, friend. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you got nice shirt, bro. Looks cool. Thank you. Green. I appreciate you, friend. I'm wearing green today, actually. That's my primary color, so very much in tune with you as well. Y'all are sweet. Please drive safe, guys. Turn signals are important. They really are. Life never gets boring when you know that the you and the I is one. Yeah. What follows I am follows you. Whatever you attach when you say I am, are you? Are you that thing? Or reframed, do you want to be that thing? I am stupid. Are you? Do you want to be? No? And why are you saying that? Peace. Peace. Cheers, man. Drive safely, dude. Love you, hoes. Fuck. Thank. Love you, Emily. Donkey. What? Donkey. Thank you so much, friend. There are many forms of meditation. I'm not necessarily too concerned with what form of meditation necessarily you practice. If you're practicing a different form, like I would be concerned the way, please share, but I wouldn't try and deduct points from you because you practice one meditation or another. Creative meditation is my world. Tell me more about that, Green, please. Bored at work, nothing to do but hurry up and wait. Oh well, could be worse, dude. Gob, hurry up and wait. The only and first place, or is it the only place? Maybe 95% of the times I've heard the words hurry up and wait is from my mom. Because my dad does that. Everybody has to hurry up, and then we are in the car, and then we're waiting for my dad. And we're like, oh, yeah, okay. What's it? Okay. Hurry up and wait. So I get you, dude. I mean, could be worse, as you said. It could be worse. I hope you're keeping busy at least, man. Almost died when I was stabbed about 10 years ago, and I came out of my body. I saw myself, and when I woke up, I got as far as my neighbor was kind enough to get me an ambulance. They were stealing my weed because I was growing, and they knew somehow, I'm guessing. Goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that, green skin. Bruh, getting killed for your weed plans. Like, you can have them, you can take them. You don't need to kill me, bruh. Just, You know, I put seeds in the ground, I water them, I love them. You can get like give me a few buds, you can have the rest though. You do not have to kill me. It's just weed. It's really just weed. Please. Please chillax yourself. Happy Friday, Mel. Good vibes. Desperate ad. It's so nice to have you here again. Thank you, friend. Good vibes to you as well. 1.38 mil. Thank you, Toasty. Thank you. 1.38 mil. Goodness. That's crazy. You know what I'm curious about now, Toasty, and I feel like this is maybe an insensitive thing to think about because we're talking about human lives here and actual deaths, but we are also aware of the statistics. So what I'm curious about is COVID-related deaths in comparison to traffic accident deaths with the epidemic and lockdown and travel restrictions and how that correlates. Did we end up saving people from road accidents as a result of all of the staying home? Probably, probably. Is it significant enough to actually show in data is the question. Worldwide, according to the CDC. Okay. Goodness. No, that can't be right. Like, I know there's something like, I think 8 million people die annually of smoking. But I thought that number was for America alone. But that might be wrong. I wouldn't be surprised. Hug. The noise the cars make when they hit that hollow thunk makes me shiver. Oh goodness. Fire, I've forgotten that sound, and you instantly gave me, like, I could, be melodramatic and say mild PTSD, but it's just flashbacks to memories I have. The very first accident we were in, there was a strike here in South Africa. The miners were striking for an increase in salary. Oh goodness. Like I've been okay. So let me just backtrack a little bit, give you some context as to why I just stripped out. I've been following r/anti-work, and I've been looking at and being mildly keeping up as far as keeping up can go with the whole Kellogg's thing that's happening right now. They offered their employees a 3% raise, 3%. Yeah. Okay, anyway, and they were like, "Nah, bro, we're not gonna take a 3% raise," and my dad was basically the mining engineer. Oh, I guess mining engineer doesn't have that much authority at this mine that the mining workers were striking to have their salaries increased. And then I instantly realized in that moment that my dad, as for most of his life, been on the other side of that battle, of this feeling, the other side of the outrage, and I was tripping out about that and the disconnect. Anyway, sorry. And the reason I was getting into that is like because of this riot that was happening, we had to take a detour. And this detour had like this little bit of a dip, and then this dip was followed by raised and then flat kind of concrete slab, and it kind of like compressed the suspension, and it literally just threw the car off of balance completely, and we went completely over and we fell on the roof, hitting the nose into like the soil. I mean, none of us actually broke anything miraculously. I had bruises, of the safety belt over my body. My dad caught my little brother, in the mid compartment, I guess you would call it, because he wasn't actually, properly seat belted. And that thunk. Oh, like as soon as you said that, as soon as I read the word, the hollow thunk, all of that stuff came back to me. Got my first x-ray that day. That was pretty sick. Got to see my own bones. For some reason, during that whole experience, I convinced myself they were gonna find cancer in me as well. I was like, yeah, this is how it happens. First I'm in a car accident. I'm like, what was I, 12? Yeah, I think I was 12. Maybe I was 12 or 13. Yeah, first I'm in a car accident and then I have cancer. And I know that's not funny at all. But I'm laughing about the melodrama, you know, that I would be getting involved in my own head. Like, oh, Juliet. You know, the whole teenage woes. Man, I was so full of it. I should have been so happy that we were all okay. So happy that my little brother was okay. Mm, goodness, I'm more familiar with that noise than I'd like to admit. Siobhan, like, if you're willing to talk about it, how many accidents have you been in? If you're very familiar with that noise. Hey man, I have a bit of depression, it feels like. A drug, more than a mindset. Just hate life, it feels like. It feels like you hate life. So, Gray, DM, there's so much that goes on inside of me when I hear something, feel something like that. First and foremost, the things that go through my being is this feeling of I don't want you to feel this way. And then that feeling leads to the masculine nature in me being like, okay, because I'm feeling this way, because I don't want you to feel this way, because I've done these things, I'm gonna recommend you do these things. You know, and that's the masculine nature at work. And then at the same time, I know how you felt, you know, and I also know how in that state of awareness, in that feeling, you don't really believe people. You know, you don't really listen, especially when it comes to them trying to tell you how you're supposed to be doing things. And it's so difficult. It's so difficult. For what it's worth, Gray, you being here, you having this conversation, that's you doing enough, man. That's you showing up for yourself. That's you sharing in love, bro. Like, thank you for being here with us. If you continue showing up here with us, continue trying this life thing, you know, see if it gets better. You know, we meet up here every day. We meet up here every day for that reason specifically. You are so loved, friend. A die bread feeling. I don't know what that means exactly, but it sounds kind of funny. Great. Much empathy on that, friend. Glad you can spend some time with us right now. I saw like a puppy, like one of those. I don't know exactly what you call them. They have very fluffy, almost like mustache-like faces, little beards, like kind of droopy ears, very hairy. But he was just kind of like peering into my mind's eye, if you will. Like little pups. You're gonna be okay, Gray. You're gonna be okay, friend. It does get better. It really does get better. It gets better with you. You know, like me and Christian had this conversation today. He was tripping out about how he feels like he's getting worse and worse at social interaction. He's having a hard time trying to communicate. He doesn't know what to say in a social situation. And I basically just mentioned to him that right now, in that moment, as he was talking about that, as he was explaining how he was feeling, as he was, you know, divulging his innermost demons, he was actively learning, actively growing, actively getting better at the very thing he thinks he's bad at. And you're doing the same thing, Gray. You're doing the same thing, friend. We all are. We actively all are. Much more MP on that, friend. How was the visit of the girl yesterday? And Christian, thank you for asking. It was fun. It was really fun, Kira. She was really nice, beautiful woman. She's a jeweler. She hasn't had electricity for the last week because her area just had a transformer blow, and it's just the country, South Africa's government, the electricity companies, is just not fixing it. So she hasn't had electricity for a week. Blows my mind. What else did we really kind of could discuss? We talked about veganism slash vegetarianism, and basically, you know, ended up on the whole fact that the universe is actively eating itself. We talked about some cool stuff, bunch of cool stuff, Kira. But at least, you know, unfortunately, and I this is like learning information that fucks with you more than it helps you actively. If you study body language, if not only on people, but if you go and study body language and you see what stuff mean and why people move in the way they do and what that communicates about their personal inner feelings, and then you see body language that I want to say concerns you, alarms you, slash makes you feel like something needs to be changed in order to make it not so, and that way it can be difficult. I'm happy that I could actually keep my cool in that way as well. But I understood why as well. Like I felt a sense of discomfort in the situation because as soon as she walked into the apartment, she was shocked by the fact that I was in here as well. Like Christian didn't tell her that he has a friend over and she's coming over to two friends right now. So yeah, it was a little bit of a shock to her system as well. Christian. And then I'm having this conversation with him today. I'm talking about the whole body language thing that I noticed of her looking like she was uncomfortable in the situation. Like we had good conversations, and it seemed like she enjoyed the conversation, but it looked like she was uncomfortable, at least from the perspective of how she was behaving. And then I mentioned this to him, and we have a conversation, and I end up asking, like, I'm trying to go through all of these steps of possible reasons for these things. And for most of the time, like, my first response is, oh, it's my fault. I did something wrong, that's why. And then, like correlation type of stuff. And I'm like, nah, I don't really think I did anything that yikes. Just had conversations, really. So, trying to find all of these things. And I eventually asked him, did you tell her that I was here? You had a friend over? He was like, no. Should I have? I'm like, oh, how do you mean? What do you mean, should you have? You don't have to anything, technically, but it helps. It helps. People like information. People really like having as much information as possible because it makes us think we're in control. If we know more of the variables, we have a greater sense of control. We don't have control really, but we have a sense of control. Didn't insurance prices drop because of fewer car accidents? Spam fried? I'm not even sure, but you might be right. Thank you for telling me, and hello to you as well. I told them to take the weed, but they just got mad because my dog, who was a nice friendly dog, was growling at them because he knew they were hurting me. It was a great part of my life, man. But anyway, happy Friday all. Green, happy Friday to you, friend. I'm happy that you're safe. I'm happy that they didn't hurt your dog. Like, genuinely. Hey, it's Dwarf. Hey, what's up? I tried to go out and socialize. It went poorly. Laughing my ass off. Like, Dwarf, the first step at being kind of good at something is sucking at something. So it has to go poorly, and then it goes a little bit better than poorly, and then it goes okay, and then it goes kind of better than okay, and then it goes kind of good, and then it goes great. Practice makes perfect, Dwarf. Don't give up, my friend. Great, it's gonna be okay, dude. There we go. More love being sent your way. You tried, and that's amazing. That's what it's about. Just a dread feeling. I know I'm fine, but it feels constant. Do you change things about your cycle if you feel like you're stuck in a constant state of dread? Are you trying to do things differently? Are you eating different foods? Are you trying to exercise? If you are exercising, are you trying different exercise routines? Are you moving through your space in a different way? Have you cleaned your environment? Like, there's so much that you can do to kind of break yourself out of patterns. And if you've done all of these other things, there are other ways, Gray. But you can do some research about that. Go and do some research about the current psilocybin studies that are being done, dude. You have to let go. We have to green. If we're too attached to anything, to information, to an interpretation, to an idea, and to a dogma, and to an ideology, anything, if there's a sense of attachment where it becomes an egoic thing that we have to defend, then we're making a mishtak. We're trying to make an ego with something that is ethereal. It's something that doesn't actually exist other than in your mind. No, and do you exist other than in your mind? Yeah. Like in my way of thinking of it, I think yes. I think we all exist in a plane of existence that is far beyond just this in mind. Lane is here. I need to come up with some more original greetings. Lane, bruh, you're saying hello. Oh, like you do not have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to that, man. Just you being you is more than enough. I can imagine you with your like really well fit glasses, your long hair, mostly mostly just black. You know, clothing in my mind's eye, it's just like Lane's face, hair. Maybe maybe now I'm thinking more about it, there's like black with some Viking sigils on it now. Yeah. That's like as soon as you walk into the space, bro. So that's your greeting. The yo 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 is just ways to announce the fact, man. I realize I'm not in control of anything, and the more I try to be, the more I mess things up. So now I try to flow whatever my life throws me into, and let go of the very idea that I am in control of it. Green, it's a beautiful point you're making as well. You know, and I'm thinking about this experience you had with people stealing your weed and almost killing you, dude. Goodness, you know, thinking about stuff like that in the perspective that you're mentioning right now, like you went through all of that and you survived it, you know, and in that way, you could have in that moment thought, oh, this is the worst thing ever. How could this be happening? Why is life like this? You know, why don't I have control over this moment? And then you came out of that entire experience being who you are right now. You know, the beautiful being that you are right now. And would you want to have control? Would that control have been something that you would have known how to use? if you, if, so let's take a step back into the perspective of divine mind. If you are fundamentally the most united state of all of existence, divine mind, in a way that there is nothing outside of that ceaseless creative point, you would want to experience a separation from that in a way where you would consider yourself separate from that. You know, you cannot separate yourself from it, unfortunately. You can create beautiful illustrations, elaborations, perspectives, simulations of that separation, but you'll never be able to actually do it. You know? And in that way, the life that we're living right now and the way you're living it right now is already the most grand and perfectly complex work of art, work of complexity to experience life in its like magnificent glory. You don't you don't need to do anything other than be who you are. That's what I'm saying, you know. Greetings, control, trying to bend life to our will, wanting for things to be differently. Life is beautiful. You are beautiful, friend. Coming here is enough. Thank you so much, friends. Being here is relaxing. Green skin, I'm happy you're vibing with me, friend. I'm also so relaxed. I feel that was daily. It's so difficult to handle life with the constant dread. I'm so sorry you deal with it too. You're like going through all of it again. Going through all of it. Loops. Infinity loops. Hey, thanks. I mean, nothing bad happened, but no one said hello to me. Dwarf, the objective should not be for other people to say hello to you. You should have the objective of going and saying hello to people. At least, you know, nobody ever says hello to me either, Dwarf. Nobody says hello to me. I don't think that's how it works. Well, according to my individualized perception of reality, I'm usually the one that goes and says hello to people. And that's the way we make friends. Or you can make friends easy peasy. You just have to go and say hello to people. I could totally hear that sick air guitar riff you were putting up when you got here. Yeah. I was depressed for 7 years and I conquered it by letting go and realizing it's okay to just be. Ooh, it's trippy that you say that, Green, because I feel I did the exact same thing, but my letting go was a little bit more symbolic. Is it symbolic, literal, rather would be the right way to say it? Ritualistic? Goodness. And then in that state where where I was like feeling myself slipping, I was slipping into again, that other side of it, being this pillar of awareness, this I, if you literal letter I, little slit through which light can pass, I, as an actual eyeball, staring at the other side of that. Like you can think of it as a wall, think of it as that eye as well, think of it as the same pillar, think of it as another eye. And then that eye to eye connection, this eye to eye connection, creates an infinity in between us. Constant infinity. And when you die, you experience that very viscerally. And you realize that where you are right now is where you're meant to be. You're here for a reason. And when you're supposed to die, you're gonna realize, oh, where I'm supposed to go is where I'm supposed to go. So when you come into this possibility, into this scenario where you could die, where dying could be seen as something that's inevitable or close, this appreciation slash level of awareness as to how grateful you are to be alive sets in. And it's difficult to hold on to that because we don't get to keep the other side of infinity. We try to, we love to try to, and we've been trying to do it with math. But it's a fundamental understanding that all human beings have. It's not a mindset, more so a drug-like feeling. I get what you mean, friend. Essentially, it feels like you're being sedated. I get what you mean. No complaints in my life, just like I've taken drugs that's taken over E. Like I've taken a drug that's taken over E. Sober. I'm not exactly sure what you mean with that, Greg. Sorry. So you're addicted to the feeling dread? Interesting. I mean, technically, people literally become addicted to their negative states of existence because they practice that negative state of existence for so long is that their ego starts to associate that feeling, that state of existence with themselves. And then breaking that pattern, that feeling, that state of existence feels in a way as an assault on the self. And then people would rather hold on to their pain, hold on to their suffering, hold on to the thing they think is constantly harming them than let it go and see where they might go next, if that makes sense. It's like this thing that happened in your life, this moment in time that is very painful. You're like sitting with it, holding on to it, instead of actually, saying, I love you, I'm sorry for what happened, standing up and continuing your journey, moving on. And this is a very weird abstraction of that idea, and it can sound very insensitive as well. Like I don't know the traumas that other people have experienced, obviously. But we do more harm to ourselves than anybody else can. Interesting. If you like the Hermes Plurple, I can certainly make a print for you and send it to you. Sucker witch, don't you freaking tease me with a good time, friend. Sounds amazing. The only reason I didn't want you to send me one is because of the shipping fees to South Africa. It's a little bit atrocious. We are one in consciousness. Consciousness is a oneness. I genuinely believe that everything experiences some layer of consciousness. And that layer of consciousness is just as infinite as every other layer of consciousness. It made me a better me. Life often hands you the greatest gift, oddly disguised as your worst nightmare. What a weird thing to say, huh, Green? Life hands you your greatest gift, disguised as a nightmare. Bruh. Oh That's beautiful. I like that. I go down to the local because most people down there are from UK, and UK people are generally pretty open and friendly. But no one said hello to me. Oh well, I may try again another time. This is the way, dwarf. Like genuinely, I have people said hello to you, friends. You know, in a normal public situation. Usually, people are either there for a very singular reason, or they're there with friends. And if you're there with friends, you're usually talking in your inner group. And if you're there for a singular reason, you're usually going to be in a certain area or looking for people that are in the same kind of space. Like talking to other people is the only way, at least in my opinion, dwarf. You have to go and talk to other people. Hey, I'm from the UK. Hello, there we go, green skin. Well, it is. Wait, what's up? Kind of live in Little Britain, lol. Well, it's a small world, yes. I don't have eyes. I don't have eyes. Are you saying I'm a lesser person when I die? No, friend. And I think you do, even if you don't have eyes, Ghostbuster. You know, I think I, not me, fundamental I, is something that's present within all of us. I, awareness, consciousness, presence, you know, soul, spirit, God, all of that stuff goes kind of in my mind into the same little interpretation of reality. Because I'm not saying any of this is fact, not even close to. I couldn't even dare to. But this is the way that I try and understand it for myself. Hey, it's McGee. Hello, good man. How are you, friend? I live in Perth, Western Australia, but I live in an area that basically has been colonized by 80% mix of UK and South African migrants. What a trip, actually, dwarf. No, the I is the you, the one consciousness. There we go. You're right, Dream. What happens after day 365? Then day 366 comes, and then day 367 comes, day 368 comes. We're gonna keep going. WBO. I'm not stopping now, my friend. You know, I'm gonna go until I die. What? You think I'm joking? I'm freaking joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. We're gonna live long and we're gonna share so much. We're gonna share more than any other human beings have ever shared with one another. And it doesn't have to be any more than conversation, perspective, experience, awareness of one another as well. You know, just think about how much we're experiencing just in the awareness of one another. Expanded mind view, expanded world view, just by knowing one another. I love you, friends. It is a shame we only appreciate life when it is at risk. It's weird, Miggy. I don't think it's the only time. I think it's the most likely time that you would appreciate life. Maybe that would be a better way to say it. You can appreciate life no matter what, but you're very likely to if you're close to dying. We go to the next dimension. There we go. This is straight up clip out. So this is a cult? No, friend. A cult, you know, fundamentally expects you to deify either an entity that I am trying to get you to believe in as well, or I'm trying to make that entity me. And if you want to believe in me, then we're all fucked. Bro, like I didn't know anything. You know, we have cool conversations, and I like to have conversations like these because I genuinely believe that we're training, we're getting better at having these conversations, exploring these type of thought processes, and that's a good thing. But I do not consider myself smart enough, aware enough to be able to say this is the only way to do things. Your way, dude, Ghostbuster, you know, your happiness, your interpretation of what your happiness is supposed to be. That's your way of living life. That's your perspective. And you need to make your perspective one that is going to be as uplifting, as wonderful, as bright shining, as gorgeous of a fractal, you know, in the grand scheme of all of existence as you can. And if I try to make you do it my way, then your way of doing it is not going to be done. And that's gonna be a damn atrocity. No cults. It's all you, dude. It's all you. Well, Perth is far from me, but it sounds lovely. I really don't even know where it is, unfortunately. Just chilled peeps melting out, melting. Oh god, green. Yes, it's pretty nice. It was a big adjustment to move to this area. I was in Scarborough before, but now I'm surrounded by people from the UK and South Africa, and not many Australians, lol. It's an adjustment. I can imagine. Why did you move, dwarf? Why did you move? Please do tell if you're willing to. There's no fee to join, and we don't make you cut ties with your family, but you're welcome to join. Oh, I love that ninja. Yo, like, what the fuck is that up with? You know, having to cut ties with your family. It's like, how is that a selling point? How do you get that? You know, how how delusional do you have to be? Is the question. Unless that's what you need right now, cause we can totally be a cult, but it makes someone feel better. Dear Kobe, we love you. What are you even talking about? You didn't have to sacrifice a good side over your eternal soul. Yeah. What the fuck? What the fuck? I think I compare happiness to my child self, which I'll never get back. Okay, Gray. Oh, I got this lower back. So, Gray, do you know what psychedelics are? Ooh. And if you know what psychedelics are, have you done research about the potential benefits of psychedelics when it comes to the treatment of depression? And this is me sharing from a place of personal experience. Like, this is not supposed to be taken as an encouragement or as a reason to, but in psychedelic experiences, there can be this very real sense of childlike wonder and awareness of the world again. And it's not something that necessarily goes away. I just feel on an adult level we had to filter so much out that we usually found beautiful because of the amount of stuff, the amount of information, the amount of going on in your brain. You know, if you're looking at something that goes on, if you were to be completely appreciative, completely openly aware, completely wonderfully enamored and awe-inspired by the world as it always is. So the normal sober state of consciousness kind of brings things down to a more manageable state of existence in a way where we can kind of function. And then when we have these psychedelic experiences, technically these psychedelics represent a neurochemical in our brains. It's called serotonin. Serotonin communicates information in our brain. If you see a smile on a human face, literally not a word has to be said. If you see a smile on a human face, serotonin is going to be released in your brain. If you hear an aggressive kind of sounding tone versus a happy sounding tone, your brain is going to downregulate the amount of serotonin it releases. You're getting negative information suddenly. And then you have these psychedelic experiences. All of them closely chemically represent or are similar to serotonin, and then they provide or fill the gaps, if you will, of information in your brain. And then suddenly you have this expanded view of the world again. It takes away some of the limitations that we see. Aldous Huxley said, if humanity, if man just had the doors of perception removed, he would see the world as it actually is, infinite. Paraphrasing a little bit, but that's the gist of it. You're an infinite being, Gray. Even if you die, dude, you're just gonna come back in infinite all over again. You have to keep going, bro. We're here for a reason, man. You're here for a reason. Casio, remember me. Spending time with children sometimes helps to bring it back a little bit. That can, fire breathing Jenny, you're so right, Can't sign over something you already sold in a deal with the devil for some Doritos. Bruh, sits on the couch, gets up watching TV, TV still playing in the background, looks at cupboard for the Doritos pack. No Doritos left. Sits back down. Thinks about, contemplates going to the supermarket to get a pack of Doritos. Sell soul to the devil for a pack of Doritos instead. The pinnacle of human laziness. I wouldn't be surprised, bro, if Uber Eats wasn't a thing. Maybe. I think letting go of childhood and embracing your adulthood is the way to feel better about not being a free child anymore. But I totally know what you mean. The lack of responsibility as a child was great. Maybe, like for me, it wasn't even about the lack of responsibility. It was just the lack of bias. I didn't have any bias. I didn't have any interpretation. I didn't have that many wants. My wants were kind of limited to $1,000 expenditure, as a kid. Like if you gave me as a kid $1,000, I would be able to get everything that I would have wanted, and then been set, pretty much up until the age of 13. When you're a teenager, then suddenly the world of birdie things, all the birdie things in the world, gain a lot more significance. But before that, we don't need as much, and in that way, I've been doing the opposite, green skin. I've been trying to embrace that childhood-like state of existence, interpretation of reality in my own life, to not need things as much, to be okay to play in the mud. I think I've been bamboozled. He didn't get the Dorito chips. Might be a loophole since Unsold my soul did automatically skip entry freeze into calls. That's nice. That's nice. That's like you have like a card. Get me out of cult fees card. I wish you a long and healthy life, my friend. WBOC. Long and healthy life to you. Well, I mean, if you live a long and healthy life, and I live a long and healthy life, then at the close to end of our long and healthy lives, I'll still be streaming, and you can tell me this again, it'll be like, bruh, our wish came true. How about that, W? I wish everyone the best life to all of you, genuinely. If you believe in me, oh fuck, I literally laughed out loud, so I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, it's a little bit brass, but I had to get my point across in a little bit of a visceral manner. I would love to be a leader in whatever, way that I can do so in an effective manner, probably as a leader of a company, if you will, eventually. But trying to be a leader of a community in a way where my opinion has to be law, goodness. Oh, no. I literally don't understand my own feelings and my own interpretation and my own understanding of why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling sometimes. How am I supposed to do that for one other person? How am I supposed to do that for two other people? How am I supposed to do that for multiple other people? I have a lot of self-confidence, but I don't have enough self-confidence to take up something like that. You seriously need to teach me these things. Blessings of wellness and bounty to all. Ooh, I like that, Ninja. Dwarf is, I like your color scheme today. One, and the scarf, on the scarf and shirt, your fashion sense is on point. Why, thank you, Dwarf. Again, like, I genuinely feel like these outfits make themselves, because, like, there's two variables. There's a variable of 6 scarves in rotation, and there's a variable of, I think, 9 shirts in rotation. So they just kind of match over. So I pick something random, and then I see what scarf I wore the longest time ago, and then I just pick that one. So again, Dwarf, I would love to take, these compliments. Yeah, I can fashion, but no, that's me. I would like to make clothing, so maybe I'll learn how to be more fashionable as we go on, but wasn't completely by choice, but I do, concede that it is a good combination. Life is kind of a game. You don't always win. You always win if you realize life is the winning. As long as you're lifing, you're winning. As soon as you stop lifing, you're not technically losing anything because you're still constantly in awareness. As soon as you think you can lose, then you've created a new duality inside your mind where this is winning and that is losing. But as soon as you get here, you're gonna be in this place looking back at that and you're gonna be like, oh, that's this and this is that. No, it's just unity. Cannot be separated. Green. Oh, what is the term for the thing where the verb ends in like running or jumping or working? W, I'm like, I don't know, you don't know, please. You're breaking my brain. But you can try again the next day. But you can try again the next day. We always can. Green, we have to. Hey, Rosie and Rats. How long has it been, friend? It feels like it's been a while. Thank you for being here with us again. How have you been? How's life been treating you? And level up if you get good. There we go, Green. On the upside, I lost another 0.1 kilogram. Keep going, dwarf. Keep going. Swimming, man. Like swimming is an exercise so amazing as well. And that's actually the very first exercise that I started doing. I was swimming as a kid. I'm thinking about primary school swimming gala medals. And how I literally had this whole trip, whole turmoil, whole significance attached to a piece of material and a very cheaply cast bit of metal. Oh. Man, they were hacking my brain. They were pulling my strings. They were fucking with me, and I didn't know yet. I didn't know, but I know now. I want to try to keep knowing. Don't get fucked with as much. I've been speaking English my whole life, and I still have no idea. I'm happy I'm not the only one, Ninja. I moved here because I live in public housing, and this is where they gave me a house. Okay, Dwarf, that's amazing, my friend. I'm happy to hear that you moved that far for it as well. That's so cool. Me either. What's the term for the end of a word? Bruh. I'm genuinely sure if you ask these exact questions into Google, you'll have a lot more. A lot more success. Yes, thank you so much. No problem. Thank you, W. I have never had anything more than weed and maybe a green. Maybe the mush must manifest momentarily. Man. Maybe, just maybe green. I mean, to me, the reason I'm so keen is because it's literally these little fungal bodies, so they grow on planet Earth. They follow us around as human beings because we started doing agriculture slash herd keeping of cattle. Mm. You just saved my relationship. Thank you, W. I'm happy to hear that. I hope that your relationships aren't as fickle where whether or not you knew the suffix is the word you needed is going to end it or not, like make or break. You got this, dude. You deserve better, though. I don't drink, but I love green. I'd like to try truffles. Yeah, I mean, truffles is basically, psilocybin containing truffles. So, where a fungal body will usually come out on top of the soil, and create itself and then hoist spores, truffles kind of grow in the middle of the mycelium network as these little clumps, also containing psilocybin, so the same active compound. But I live in a very high up, so I'm always afraid I might want to go flying. Green, unlikely, dude. Unless you actually actively believe that you can fly, and that is something that you plan on doing. Probably not. Stealth mushrooms, exactly. Toasty knows. Stealth mushrooms, literally like little bombs under the ground. The best antidepressant. Yeah, there we go. It really is that way as well, man. Like I'm not even gonna read it out loud because it's not. It's mostly proven, but not completely proven, Ninja. But dude. Having someone I trust to do them with would help. It would. Come here, green skin. Come to South Africa, bro. I think they are working on a new antidepressant using shrooms. They are. There's a lot of them right now. Oh, Darth Zombie is here saying good morning. Good morning to you, Darth. How have you been, friend? How's life been treating you, man? How's Texas? Might have to get to the doc to hook me up with someone. Please, dream. As far as I know, they want to get them to be viewed like cannabis in a medical manner, and the Mayo Clinic have been doing studies for like 5 to 10 years, and all of the studies they found have amazing data. Yes, it seems interesting to me. Might free many people from the hell of depression, and a lot of people are stuck in that as well right now. That's the thing. You would make an excellent HR representative. Is that a good thing? Is that a good thing, Soccer Witch? Maybe, like, for some reason, the first thing that I feel if I think about an HR representative is this person that basically would go through everything to make sure that the company stays okay no matter what happens on a humanity level. And in that way, I feel it would be exploitative. But I would, maybe Soccer Witch. I don't know if that's something I can do. Do I have to even study to do something like that? Help, dude. It's difficult just being a human being sometimes, yo. Why do they have to make it so difficult? Me and Christian have this conversation, and then we're like, if it wasn't difficult, we would get bored. And so here we are. Oh, Punk Rock Lobster is here again. They tried to do the same thing with cannabis and ketamine. Both things, they came out less effective. They're not trying to make anything better, just simply a profit. They can't patent a plant. That's true. That's completely true. But if we can get to the point where it's more publicly accepted and the stigma have been broken and people aren't being criminalized for just owning this stuff, or using it in their own spare time, exploring their own consciousness in their own personal, world, then we've reached a point where it's going to be good, and if these things help to push us closer to that, that's the good thing. Hopefully they fail like they did with synthetic cannabis and are forced once again to let nature do its thing, probably ninja, especially since it's not rocket science. Well, it's not that difficult, rather, let me just say it that way, to grow any, fungi. Hopefully, no, we're wrong. Hey, Crayon is here again. Thank you for joining us, dude. How have you been? Shirts and pointed dough. Thank you, Roses. Love to you, my friend. Can you make a long, slow, but loud sipping sound, ASMR style? WBO. Why did you have to make it weird, though? Because now I have to do it. Because I love you. But it's gonna be weird. But I'm gonna do it because I care. But I also don't want to be weird because I care. Okay, we can do this. No, it's so fucking bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wouldn't blame you if you're throwing stuff right now. Just join. Wouldn't it be interesting if the universe existed before this and the only difference is the choices that living things make? How things would be different if other choices had been made affecting the future. There we go, Prismo Flight. Now we're getting into the topics that I hope that this title would stimulate. Yeah, exactly. And technically in that way as well, there can be an infinite amount of previous universes where an infinite amount of beings made an infinite amount of different choices, and all of those infinities can technically be encapsulated within a larger set of infinity. And in that way, technically, all of possible experience, all of possible decision, all of possible information will be encapsulated in that single infinity. And how do we figure out how to tap into that? And what came before that? Brain starts melting again. Doesn't work anymore. I smelled awesome curls and I ended up here. Scrolls. Our pan is here. Thank you for joining us, Nelson. Brings a full glass of snilk with him. Let's take big sips together, brother. The infinite multiverse, each choice is split into one or other, and an infinite multiverse for each person. Literally, infinitely. Oh, I'm in the US, but I was born in a small town at the border of South Africa. Small world. Free the burbs. I'm happy that you got out, friend. I hope that you're enjoying the land of the free. That sounded condescending slash like I was being sarcastic, but I'm being completely serious. South Africa is a bit spicy right now, and a lot in me is telling me to leave, and then there's parts of me that wants to stay as well. Like, since you left when you were young, born in a small town, so I don't know when you moved to America then. Have you enjoyed America? Do you miss South Africa? Do you come here for family? Hmm. Hoping maybe setting permit for a trip soon. I'm excited. Setting permit for a trip. Hoping maybe setting permit for a trip soon. Am I tripping? Are you saying the one way that I could interpret what you just said is, since we were talking about regulation and studies going into it, is that setting permits for trips are gonna be a thing soon, which I'm very sure is not something you would say, Toasty. The other thing that you might be saying is that you are gonna set up maybe a setting for a trip soon. Probably the second one. My brain. Just bubbles. Bubbles. Problem with HR is the name when you look at people as resources. Exactly, dude. That's all we are to companies, and they view us as resources, not a person. Crayon, like you basically said what I was feeling as well. And I didn't think, which was trying to be derogatory of us or our way of seeing the world by saying something like that, but it's because of this interpretation we have of how things are seen, and maybe I could do the opposite of what we perceive the world to do in that situation if I am in that position. So maybe it's just about keeping us aware. Nice. Y'all still here. We are. Jovan, thank you for joining us again. Sip, sip, sip. I was just trying to ask when your next stream is. I'm looking forward to the next one as well, actually, Jovan. Like, have you been drawing, actually? I'm curious. The main job of HR is to keep the company out of legal trouble from employees. Yep, that's exactly it. And at expense of the employees, especially, like the company literally pays you to save them as much money as possible, and they encourage you to do so at expense of the employees. Had a quick meeting, but I'm back. Kira Burb, I don't have one in mind. Maybe Monday. Okay, that sounds good. Snilks for all, snilk shakes for all. Look at this little bit. I mean, snilk, to you friends who don't know, is snail milk. If you go to the place where there ain't no trousers, ain't no pants, you better bring yourself a big old glass of snilk. To you friends who don't know, Nelson is also a streamer friend here on our pan. He's a machine. Yes, please. Any day that works for you would be wonderful. Snilks bring all of the elks to the yard. Hey, it's Leonidas. Will we ever see the morning streams return? Yes, Leonidas, yes, we will. We will, in fact, see the morning streams return. Hopefully with a theory. Hopefully with consistency again. I would hope so, Leonidas. Genuinely, like right now, I don't really have too much to share. And if I'm gonna wake up at like 5-ish a.m. and start playing music and jumping up and down on the third floor, some people are gonna come and kill me, And I understand. They'll, knock on the door, pangas, machetes, technically the same thing, pitchforks, fucking torches. And I'd, begrudgingly open the door for them, let them murder me. Because I would understand, and in that way, because I'm on the farm, I can lose my mind a little bit with some shenanigans. But right now, in the space I am, it wouldn't be appropriate, Leonidas. Thank you though, friend, for like encouraging me to and for missing it. Like it means so much. I dated a girl in Cape Town until recently. She wants to leave. Do you blame her? Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Do you blame her? You can't really blame her. Hey, Bob says, come live with me in Chicago. Or just stay there, whatever. Bob, don't don't put those ideas in my head, bro. I've already like jokingly told this to Christian. Like I was mentioning Toasty's words. I was talking about someone basically mentioned in stream that this guy is homeless, and I was like, yeah, technically very much homeless. And then Toasty said, you might be houseless, but you'll never be homeless. And just how that made my heart feel warm. And I shared that with Christian, and now you doing the same thing. It's this new little puzzle piece in my brain that gets like pressed, stimulated. Thank you, Bob. Do we really have choice? That's something I struggle with scientifically. It looks like there is a great possibility for free will not being actually free. Our meat suit and the other external forces of our experience we have no choice in. So technically, punk rock, you can see that as this mutually interpenetrating slash into a single possibility collapsing reality. Where you can think of your brain as this quantum machine, and then as soon as you see something, upon looking at that, it's almost like quantum gates open. Like upon you witnessing something, you have now looked at something and as a result of it made it collapse into either a one or a zero. And as soon as you do that, this whole brain fractal goes into whatever thought you have, whatever action you're going to take next, and whatever choice you make. But the thing is that process, the neuroplasticity, and then the reason for that little can be influenced by your entire upbringing and the environments that you found yourself in. So, in that way, free will both is a real thing and isn't a real thing when it comes to infinity. It's a real thing when it comes to your immediate existence, but within an infinite understanding of reality, everything isn't real anymore. That's the trip about it, punk rock. And, trying to take the scientific axe to it is futile, unfortunately. Oh, man. Oof. Okay. Okay. It's so tangy. Where do you think the choice comes in? So, again, with the whole collapsing into a single point thing. At least that's the way I think about it. Predetermined outcomes in the simulation are meant to appear as a choice. I mean, a lot of games do it pretty well as well. People are convinced with basic games, never mind something complex enough to render entire galaxies. Yet nutritious, yes. Have connection issues. I hope it's a little bit better right now, Green. I'm sorry to hear that. Thinks glass. Tries reloading. Just switched phones, lol. Ek het amper gesterf deur gesmelte botter te drink, you ontdekte dier. What the fuck, Nelson? How much, dude? How much did you drink? Nelson just sent me a message. Ek het amper gesterf deur om tegnies gesmelte botter te drink, you ontdekte dier. Which basically directly translates into I almost died drinking melted butter, you beautiful animal, or you sexy beast. Would be almost the same thing. Mm. Thank you, Nelson, for telling me that. How much butter did you drink, dude? Like, I'm imagining like a shot glass. I would be able to do a shot glass of butter drinking. But if it's like a whole 250 ml glass of butter drinking, that's I'm surprised you're still alive. I say that. Being a good neighbor is important to make life bearable. It makes life bearable for both sides. If there's only two neighbors in the entire world, and you're not good neighbors to one another, the entire world is now not going to be good anymore. It's not going to be harmonious, it's not going to be beneficial. Now there's suddenly going to be this conflict. And that conflict is instantly going to lead to separation, and that separation always inevitably leads to suffering. We've done this a million times. I suppose the reason you're called Meltmore is because you melt our hearts' roses, don't you? Freaking melt mine, friend. Well, the Meltmore name to me is just this mindset of becoming completely one with all of the rest of it. And melting more is like a mantra slash thing I have to tell myself to remind myself of how slash just that I can do that. You know, making all of your senses melt into the same, conscious awareness, like same medium of experience. Sound, sight, smell, feeling, taste, all such limited ways of perceiving this reality. And when we receive more information, technically they become interconnected as well. Synesthesia is a crazy thing. You melt my heart roses. Thank you, friend. Like we melt in so many ways here. That's the nice thing about it. Like I'm so happy with the name we've chosen for this space. I feel sorry for South Africa and how they treat the foreigners, etc. It's okay, Green. It's not your fault, my friend. It's only that much we can do about it. Angry mob knocks on the door. Yes, we're here to lynch you. Do you have a minute? My girl's eyes. Sighs, okay, make it quick, please. Lynchings. Okay, just let me get dressed. Gets put something on. Fine. Lynch me, I guess. Love your neighbors if you can. Absolutely, if you can. Bob says, yep, I have an extra bedroom that has nothing in it but empty boxes. It could have a full melt. Rock on, bro. Bob, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Like, ironically, when I move through I want to have like an American tour where I just like go from state to state, city to city, just experiencing. So in that way, I'll definitely take you up on that offer as well. Toast them the wholesome. The restraining order makes it difficult these days. Nelson is like someone is saying, love your neighbors if you can, and then Nelson replies with, the restraining order makes it difficult these days. Nelson will love his neighbors, no matter the consequences. Until there were consequences, and now he doesn't love them, no matter the consequences. I love you, Nelson. Thank you, dude, for being such a character. I rag. My HR comment was with the best intentions, and I felt that, Sucker Witch, and I had to say the same thing for that reason as well. Only love coming from you. It was with the best intentions. Most HR reps don't try to bring themselves into another's experience. The best attributors try to see both sides, all good vibes, just infinite good vibes coming from you, Sucker Witch. That's why, as soon as I started talking about it as well, I was like, I have to say that I'm not tripping. I trip out all the time about things, but I'm not tripping about this, Sucker Witch. You got a license for that, Nelson? I got PTSD in certain circles. Nelson most likely has all of the licenses, and none of them at the same time. I know, dear, I'm a bastard for mentioning it. I apologize. Thanks for the outlook. It helps. I thought of those things before, but you put it in a way that sounds much less hopeless. So I thank you, punk. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, dude. That gives me so much hope, because I feel sometimes that I'm being a little bit gloomy, or yeah, gloomy could be a way of saying it. So the fact that you think that I'm making it feel a little bit less hopeless brings me so much joy. Thank you for sharing that with me. It's not hopeless, dude. It really is not hopeless. We're just in the middle of infinity, And knowing that and seeing that shit, seeing ourselves in the middle of infinity, you can be hopeless. Sure, I've been hopeless so many times looking at that shit. Or you can be awe-inspired. So much, and that's, to me, that's the nicer way to do it. You're so absolutely entrenched in the experience of just being alive. And you always are that same level of aliveness. We just kind of get into a haze, you know. The haze of habit. Mm. The Haze of Habit. That sounds like a cool book title. The Haze of Habit. You know what? Maybe I'll write it. Maybe I'll write that book. I'm gonna have to be really honest with myself as well if I want to try and write that book. And I'm probably not gonna have a good time being that honest with myself, but maybe it would be good to do that. Mm. Nelson's just joking around. Oh, I know, Green. He's a machine. Mm. Mm. uh, yeah, Nelson, like, even though he was apologizing, Nelson is a machine. Like, that dude is on a, like, galaxy of his own as well. I don't think he is one of the people that feels too offended too quickly. Maybe he'll curse people who might have tried to offend him, but he'll curse at them for thinking that they can offend him. That's the type of energy I get from Nelson. How many languages do you speak? I wonder actually. I've never seen any of my licenses in the same place at the same time. One fluently. I know, but I'm sure it's a little bit of an itch for you. Iraq doesn't forget so easily. I'm butchering it a little bit, but that's my best like impersonation of Nelson right now. Living life to the fullest and not at the same time. I'm getting a cup of tea. I hope that's. What tea are you getting actually, rather? Are you getting some green tea? Maybe not. Like, tell me what tea you're getting, dude. If you have it already. Thanks for being you. Always bring a certain something. Absolutely. Every single one of us do, Kira. As you do too, my friend. You've been watching my again, haven't you? Thank you, dear. Likewise, genuinely. Thank you, Nelson, for saying the same as well. I'll give you the Schrodinger's cat answer, yes and no. Yeah, yes and no at the same time. Until you observe. Until you look. I'd love to do a tour of America too. Maybe we'll do it together, Green. Maybe we'll do it together, bro. Like, unironically, I have plans as to how we can do something like that, but goodness, still a while away. Quite a while away. I'm a fan of this answer. There we go, Nelson. He knows. I came here for the curls, but stayed for the knowledge, nuggets, and good vibes, and the hair hair on top. Wisdom nuggets. With wisdom nuggets, some good vibes sauce, and then a hair dessert. The good vibes here are another level. You friends are bringing the good vibes as well, and thank you. I just made some nuggets, dude. Synchronicities, how about that? Quietly sitting here, feeling the same, Ninja Banana. Ninja Nana. Enjoy the beauty and infinity by looking at a nice sunset. Goodness. The amount of colors you'll see in a sunset. It's gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. Everything is so much larger than you actually perceive them to be. You know, one of the things that's crazy, and I'm gonna say this, and it's not gonna really make sense, but let's pretend like it makes sense. Let's be inspired and, you know, wowed about it anyway. In a single glass of 250 mils of water, there is 8.24 times 10 to the power of 24 molecules, individual molecules of water. What does that mean? And that's literally what? 1/8 of your daily water, like the average daily water requirement, or my average daily water requirement. That's crazy. That's so many freaking water molecules. So on that level, we're these ginormous beings, like freaking unfathomably large. And then we know about the scale of our universe, and then we realize, oh, maybe we're not as big as we think we are. But if we take everything away, all of it, no more perception, no more bias, no more filter, It's all infinite. Every single step of it is infinite. And that doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And it's not supposed to. And I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's actually the beauty of it, is that it doesn't make sense. So many things make sense, but that, nope, doesn't want to make sense. I know you were all together, but damn, why can't it be physical? It can't be physical because of financial slash circumstantial situations right now. But this is us building momentum right now, Kira. You know, we're taking little baby steps. I feel like I'm crawling. Sometimes I'm like dragging myself across the floor with like one arm that's still functioning. But we're getting there, Kira, little by little, you know, as long as we're waiting for one another, as long as we're willing to pick one another up when we're dragging by one arm, then we're going to get there. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, my friend. Genuinely. My nugget quota was filled earlier in the day. Sounds like lovely. Snuggle, cuddle, buttle, burp. I fucking love that. I'm a real person. Nothing physical happening unless some of you decide to be crap. Melt, rolling a joint. We just get into a haze. What the fuck? What? Another joint in my hand? What? How did this happen? So, you might be like, goodness, Melt, calm down with the joint smoking. This is technically, okay, all of this, you see this? All of this is weed mixed with million, and I've rolled one joint out of this already for Christian, one joint for me that we've already smoked, and now another one of these joints, and I still have that much left, and I put one bud worth of weed into this little mix. So it's like smoking one bud over 7 joints. And it still works, you know, it still does its job. You'd be surprised. You'd actually be surprised. Maybe, and this might be the caveat of it, it's also helped me push my tolerance quicker than I would have, which I'd also concede, but you know, it's interesting. It really is interesting. Pretty much heaven. I would meet you if you're in the UK. Thank you, friend. Like at some point I'll go there as well, dude. I want to go everywhere eventually. Be right back. See you soon again, Roses. I appreciate how thoughtful you are when responding to people. Spoons, you're a person, dude. Whole as human being. Like I try to give as much time to each and every single one of you because I can't even imagine, you know, the infinities that you've experienced. I can't even start to. But I try to, you know, at least let you know that that is the reality. If I can, at least in any way, remind you that love is true, then we've done our job here. And thank you, Spoons, for encouraging and being appreciative of that as well. I have to value that I've been here before I can be offended. Freaking Nelson Slay. Thank you for the platinum, Leonidas. Meet me in Amsterdam when the Rona is over. Leonidas. We'll get some of those truffles, bro. Maybe a few of those little coffee place joints. Go on one of those little boats. Go through those little canals. Maybe go to an art museum. I totally did not just ash in my water cup. Didn't do that at all. That's not something I would do, no. Maybe the joints are still working. I need to see them burn cream for that one. What? I need to see burn cream for that one. The offended joke. It was like watching myself speaking. The practice is definitely paying off. Nelson, you honor me, friend. Thank you, man. I agree with the Nelson dog. We are big for the planet. We are big for the planet, but compared to the universe, we are stardust. We are dust molecules of dust molecules of dust molecules, like fractions of fractions of fractions of fractions of smaller fractions. It's crazy green. In more than one way. Literally. Literally Stardust as well, exactly. G! I mean, definitely not G Unit. Let's all get high and laugh at each other. You're gonna, at least, that's why I'd be willing to share my own fuck ups with you as well. So, like, I have an ashtray, and then I have a cup directly next to it. And my mind went like, oh, boom, ashes in my water. And I'm like, really, dude? Really? Really? And it doesn't taste that bad, you know? It still tastes like water. But I hope it can make you laugh. We are like a walking antenna. In that way, the signal that we're picking up is consciousness. Mm. Can't wait to hug each of you. Thank you for the very best vibes. I'm looking forward to the day I can hug you as well, Kira Burp. Receiving light and sound and taste. I will hug you all too. I'm looking forward to the day, friends. I'll hug you over handshake, 10 out of 10. 100 out of 10 times. Hey, it's Corey! Okay, now I'm on Reddit. Love you, Estian. Hope you are having a great week. Thank you so much, Corey. The week has been difficult because I've been a little bit under the weather. But thank you so much for being here with me and for wishing me a happy week. How has your week been? How have you been? How's life been treating you? Mm. Ash water is delicious. The most delicious exists. I mean, some people add lemon to their water, some people add sugar, and carbonation and flavoring. I like the 0 calorie approach and ash in my water. Oh, we ash in the drink is it's completely okay, dude. It's completely inert. It doesn't. It technically, if anything, it might actually pull some carcinogens out of my body, or potentially detoxify. Doesn't really detoxify. It can absorb toxins. For instance, if you've taken a copious amount of some sort of toxic substance, drinking a bunch of charcoal pills can help you survive an experience like that. Story for you. I had a weird dream where I was in school and I saw a girl and she fell off of the third-story floor. I called an ambulance and I don't know what happened next. That's an interesting story you just told me, Extreme Tax. A dream where I was at school and I saw a girl and she fell off the third-story floor. Like, I'm trying to, in a way, find what that might mean. Feeling the potential for a tragedy, although it might feel like a external tragedy slash impersonal tragedy, could be happening in your life. And the only thing you can do and you're willing to do is call for help. And then you wake up not knowing how that is going to continue. Like, we dream to prepare ourselves to create these scenarios within our brains that is going to be novel to what we usually experience. So maybe that's why it's doing. Do you pull any value from those dreams? Tasty. She's in the water. Follow me. Follow me for more recipes. Ashes in the water. Follow me for more recipes. Yes, like health fitness guru right now. More recipes coming up soon, friends, for a very cheap price of $444 a day. I'll give you all of my recipes. Recipe Juan. Ash in your water. And then you make everything like absolutely disgusting. Everything relatively edible, you won't die from eating it, but you make it so bad that people can't bear to. And then if they complain that the stuff isn't working, you're just like, yeah, but you haven't been doing it right. Clear, foolproof. It happens so much. It's happening everywhere in the world right now. Like, people just manipulating people into buying things they don't need. I feel if anything, we should get things for ourselves that benefit us, or show our support of one another. Oh man, no supplement, no vitamin is going to do as much for you as you are going to be able to do for yourself, just taking care of yourself through exercise and proper diet. Other unfortunate thing is that people have more money than they have willpower. So people are willing to spend money on something that they are told is going to make the process easier, and they're more willing to put in the effort than they are willing to put in the R&D of how this thing is supposed to work. And I'm not trying to make less of anybody. I understand completely why that is the way it is. You know, when I was just starting with my fitness journey, if you will, I was doing the exact same thing. Literally actively searching online for this, this way of getting gains faster, this food you're supposed to eat, this supplement that blocks myostatin, this, over and over and over and over again. Impatient. We're so impatient. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But there's no quick way of doing anything, pretty much. There's no quick way of doing anything right. Especially when it comes to your personal experience of experience. Going through things, the struggle of exercising for the first, it sucks. Oh, it sucks so much. It feels like you go from this, rusted, old machine into being able to actually move yourself, but then the process of going from the one to the other is this breaking and cracking and peeling off of and scratching and loud steel noises. This is just a representation, right? Like for us to picture it together. But as soon as you get moving, that movement is something that is good. Like it feels, and there's an understanding within yourself that it's good. You got this, friends. You got this. We know. It's probably good for you. Is that why cats love eating ash to detox? Cats love eating ash? I didn't know that actually. I might make an ash milkshake. Like if you're gonna eat ash, like get yourself something charcoal. Just like basically bamboo charcoal, dude. Oh. You don't have to do ash, directly. Life is good. Jimmy is sick too. Almost kept him home from preschool today, but he wanted to go. He is nonverbal, so can't exactly tell me how he's feeling, but he kept pointing to the door, so I guess he wanted to go. I hope you get feeling better. Thank you for sharing that story with me as well, Corey. It makes me happy to hear that he, regardless of his ailment, still wants to go outside. When I was sick, that would be the best excuse for me to not go to school because I really hated school. Like being sick and having an excuse not to go to school was the best thing ever. So the fact that he has the opposite, reaction and wants to go to school makes me very happy, Corey. That's amazing. And thank you for sharing that genuinely. And I hope I'll feel better soon as well. I should. I should feel better soon. They do pack a piece of charcoal in a soldier's rations for a reason. I didn't know that. Very cool. Sending healing vibes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Charcoal filter vibes. Recipe 2. Ketchup popsicles. Yo, G-Unit. That's some cursed information you just shared with us, dude. What's wrong with you? Nudge, nudge. I love that, dude. That's horrifically amazing. Ketchup popsicles. How do you feel during the dream? I'm curious as well. I don't know if our friend is still here. I don't think so. I worked out all year and I take December off for bulking. Cats eat anything, balloons and stuff. That sounds good, Green. Like I've had a lot of change within the last year as well. There's been a little bit of fluctuation throughout of it, but I've been getting into yoga, like strength training yoga as of late, and it's been much different form of exercise than I've been used to, and I've been really enjoying it. Anyways, I have school holiday for 3 weeks. That sounds amazing, Extreme Tax. I hope you enjoyed that time, dude. What do you plan on doing with it? Cookbook idea. Eat my ash. That's like unironically actually hilarious, dude. I love that. My cat eats all of my plants. There it is. I knew there was something there. I'm gonna use my tea. as an ashtray forever now. Activated charcoal? Activated charcoal. That's the one. Thank you, fire breathing and Jenny. I don't know why I forgot the activated part. Like, I don't know if there's something as inactive charcoal. Is there? Like, I'm guessing activated charcoal is they heat it up and they perforate it to the point where it has a lot of surface area, and in that way it's activated. I'm guessing that's what it means. Makes it super dry, maybe. I'm not exactly sure, actually. Ambient recipe. Goodness, ketchup, ambient, popsicle, ambient and ketchup popsicles. I think rest is just as important as workout. It really is, Green, especially if you push yourself too hard and you keep pushing yourself. Like, you'll get hurt, or your body will literally start discouraging you to exercise. And then if you think about exercising again, it will discourage you before even doing so. So you'll maybe see a lot of progress because you're pushing yourself as hard as you are for a while, and then that progress is going to rapidly fall off. Recipe 3, goodness, G Unit. I'm not sure if my psyche is gonna handle this one. Let's see. Tuna ice cream with ash sprinkles. Do it, please. Please. My brain is like, oh, tuna, okay, ice, okay, ash, away. Freaking mixes it together in my brain, with all of the information I have. Don't do this to me, please. Please. I want to try yoga. I haven't done that yet. Do Green. Like, don't do normal yoga. Go and search functional strength yoga. Like, if you search that in YouTube, you should be able to find some of the good stuff. The good stuff. Ambien. Last time I took that, I had a conversation with a brick wall wrapped in aluminium foil. Goodness, how much Ambien did you take? My cat is a British short hair. I'm gonna pretend to know exactly. Oh, British short hair. I really like the way they look like cats. The whole cat-like ears and, cat-like eyes and cat-like legs. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm really bad with dog names as well. Cats are almost just, it's a cat pretty much, unless it's one of those stubby-faced ones that look kind of messed up, or a Maine Coon that's a massive and very hairy, or a Sphinx. The rest of them is like the same cat to me. Lamau, I get it. Activate, activate the marketing. I love that, fire, Jenny. So it's marketing. Okay, it makes sense. Try Yin Yoga. It's super chill and relaxing. Not like Hatha Yoga. That's more intense. That's what I've been doing, Ninja. We've been doing Hatha Yoga, actually. I think so. Like, where you literally, for most of your experience, your resting state is the downward dog position, basically. That's your resting state. And then you keep your body under that tension for like 15 minutes, non-stop. Like, we don't, but you're supposed to, apparently. Have you ever tried ayahuasca? I hear that's the ultimate detox, but I'm almost scared to try it because of the thing it might teach me about myself. Oh well, Leonardo's, you're not gonna learn anything about yourself that yourself hasn't told you before. It's just gonna tell you again. Christian, the friend I'm living with right now, went through an experience very recently at the end of November, and he didn't purge at all. He drank 4 cups, didn't purge at all, didn't experience much, but the rest of the people around him did. So if you consider your current behavior or the things you've been going through, the way you've been experiencing, like as a something that needs to be changed, and you feel like you don't want to do that, then it might show you something. But ayahuasca tends to be very light. It's like a mother type of plant spirit. Mm. Yin Yoga. Thanks, Ninja. I'll Google it after. Thank you, Green, for being willing to listen, friend. No worries. I like ladies in cat suits if it counts. Me too. Me too, Green. Mm. I have done that. We called it Sacred Tatra. It was pretty amazing. Made tea, ate it, and smoked it. That sounds amazing, actually. Corey. I want to have experience like that as well, but I will when it's time. I was taking Ambien after my tonsils were removed. The crab people were after me. Oh goodness, the crab people. Everything turns into crabs eventually, dude. Crab people are gonna get you. Soccerovich. Whoa, Christian and ayahuasca bucket list experience here. Yeah, he did. He did, and he did it without me, bastard. Like he had a good time. It was an experience and a half for him as well. I took Ambien and absolutely nothing happened. I want a refund. Maybe you didn't. Oh, I'm not going to encourage you to take more Ambien. G Unit. Never had Ambien. Don't take it. It's a sedative, basically, I'm guessing. Painkiller. Have you tried noodles in Malaysia? I'm from Malaysia. I haven't extreme tax. Malaysia is high on my bucket list of places I want to go very soon. Oh, really hope to one day be able to experience ayahuasca. You will. Just a matter of time, friend. You're putting it out into the universe right now. If it takes 20 years, so be it. Don't think it's allowed in my country now, Green. I want Malaysian noodles right now. Corey, me too. I'm pretty hungry myself. I haven't actually eaten that much. Ooh, thank you, friends, for sharing the space with me, for being here with me in this moment and on this day. You are quite something. The conversations we have here are amazing, and you quite literally are the co-creators of these conversations that we have with one another. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you friends again tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye, my friends. Thank you for joining us here.